What happened in Vegas used to have to stay in Vegas, at least when it came to betting on sports. But that's changed dramatically in the past few years, with more than 30 states and the District of Columbia allowing legal betting on games in person, online, or both. It's projected to be a $129 billion industry by 2028. And as Brook Silva-Braga shows us, betting has become increasingly intertwined with the games themselves.
On a Wednesday afternoon in Pittsburgh, a journeyman catcher stepped to the plate.
A strike to Tyler Heineman.
But even this low-stakes baseball moment had people betting on what Tyler would do next.
He's about 4-1 to strike out, 5-1 to hit a single.
In FanDuel's New Jersey office, trader Tom Heenan tweaked the odds, while his boss, Will Twin, looked on.
And this is a big part of what we try and do. We want to give a really innovative betting experience for our customers.
Leadoff walk.
Okay, he walked. Someone had walk.
Someone did, at 13-1.
Oh, that's pretty good. They turned their 100 into 1,300 for a walk.
Sports bets used to be placed in Las Vegas before the game started. The odds or point spreads were never discussed during the broadcast.
And don't forget to play FanDuel's over-under game.
Now, in-game betting made from a phone,
what you need to do is download the BetMGM Sportsbook app,
is promoted seemingly constantly.
He's scored a touchdown in 8 of the last 10 games.
Mike Raffensperger is FanDuel's chief marketing officer.
I personally think there may be no more disruptive force in sports than gaming.
And you must think that's a good thing.
I think it's an excellent thing. And by the way, we're the official sportsbook of the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. We have a long-standing partnership with MLB, the WTA, the PGA. The leagues think so too.
It's a remarkable reversal for the leagues. Just 10 years ago, they sued New Jersey to stop sports gaming. Here's NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell 5 years ago.
We still strongly oppose legalized sports gambling.
But in 2018, the Supreme Court ruled New Jersey and other states could legalize sports betting.
I think there were a good amount of people that were shocked.
Darren Ravel, who covers the industry for the sports gaming website The Action Network, says leagues that once insisted betting would compromise the integrity of their sports have adopted a new position, that gambling supercharges fan engagement.
It does seem a little bit insane how you could so oppose something and then now you're fully into it.
Why do you think the switch?
It's just money.
Pirates at -124.
The money is flowing into sponsored pregame segments and in-stadium billboards and naming rights. It's flowing into commercials.
You think Boston's gonna cover?
Why, you know something I don't?
And more commercials.
You know what to do.
And more and more and more commercials.
Are these glasses solid gold?
The bet is that there's going to be losers here, and that's why, this is a good business.
I need another tutty out of him for $750. It's not looking too good right now.
At FanDuel's new facility inside the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut, even a brick-and-mortar sportsbook has a different feel. Picks that win or lose in a matter of minutes.
This is going to be a bet on what's going to happen next.
First touchdown scorer.
All right.
Even with betting windows and kiosks right there, many fans still buried in the app. They could use at home.
Jaguars money line, Trevor over.
And everywhere, parlays.
These are bets that have a lot going on in them.
Yeah,
that's right.
Bets that require many picks to all go right.
We got a 17-legger.
No, 17 legs. I mean, come on, you might as well buy a lottery ticket.
Sportsbooks now heavily promote these exotic bets.
You can win a lot of money on a small bet.
The long odds benefit the house. Fans like how much excitement you can buy for a few dollars.
Do you do this for money or do you do it for fun?
For fun.
But they're also quick to bring up those rare magic occasions.
He hit 5 during the NBA season.
When $20 turned into something like $4,600.
What do you remember about that night?
I was sweating, pacing around my room.
How much of the $4,600 do you still have?
Not much. I lost $500 the next day.
In the front row of the sportsbook, we found Kenny Ackerman, a self-described lifelong gambler from Connecticut, who can finally legally bet on sports in his home state.
This didn't exist, really recently. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I think it's bad for society. I mean, I like it. It's fun, but I think overall access to all these apps and gambling sites on the internet is people get addicted to it, and I think they gamble too much, and it's going to hurt a lot of people.
We know from history, the more access people have to gambling, the more problem gamblers we're going to have. Why should people be excited about the expansion of this thing that we know is going to lead to bad outcomes for many people?
So I challenged maybe the assumption in the question. Betting was happening before legal, regulated American companies were running it. We really operate under a principle that this is a form of entertainment and it should be fun, and have put a ton of effort around responsible gaming efforts.
Those efforts include sponsoring a weekly radio show in New York devoted to responsible gaming.
My story and personal history with gambling has been well documented.
But that won't outweigh the impact of all the gambling hype out there now.
We have this on FanDuel already. You can bet this.
According to gambling addiction counselor Rick Benson.
And what we are seeing, not surprisingly, many of these young gamblers are as addicted to their cell phone as they are to the gambling.
Benson was a problem gambler himself, but over time has found it possible to safely enjoy sports.
I still make it a point to stay away from point spreads. Point spreads and money lines are none of my business.
It's hard to watch a game now, though, without seeing them on the screen. Do you think that's a problem for gamblers in recovery?
I think it's a problem for gamblers who are still gamblers and some gamblers in recovery. Absolutely. I think it's a problem.
But it's unlikely to change.
So let's take a look at FanDuel Sportsbook live point totals.
One gaming executive described the situation to us as a prisoner's dilemma, pushing sportsbooks, leagues, and broadcast networks into ever more aggressive marketing.
The touts and everyone else have been disingenuous about losing, have not talked overtly about bankroll. Just because you can live bet something and it's available doesn't mean you should do it.
Risk-free bet up to $1,000.
But ironically, it's the cost of all this promotion that could ultimately slow it down. Most sportsbooks are spending more on marketing than they're bringing in, a gamble that will leave just a couple big winners. Many of the companies now taking bets, just like the people placing them, will eventually be out of cash.
I also have them a different parlay money line.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Brook Silva-Braga, Uncasville, Connecticut.
It's a really interesting dilemma in how much of this, when you look at addiction and the possibility and this accessibility and the money that can be raised for states, because there's a percentage that goes to the states as well. It's fascinating to me how it also is now with this younger audience. Yeah. My son at 11 knows about gambling.
They all do, everyone, because you see the ads so much now.
Yeah.
And as long as if you're doing it with money you can lose.
That's the thing.
And understand that the house always wins.
Right.
But it is an engagement factor.
Casino floor on steroids in the pocket of your hand. We'll see you next.
Toothpaste doesn't go back in the tube.